Welcome to Pigskins and Pageantry, a podcast dedicated to all things SEC football. My name is Wes, and I'd like to invite you to join me, Jesse, and Matt each week as we discuss last week's games, news from around the league, make predictions for the upcoming games, and much, much more. What's up, everybody? It's Wes. Welcome back. It seems like we just did this. It's weird. So, welcome back for another minisode where we will catch up with Matt, who is apparently passed out at his desk. Yeah, I mean, he's been up to so much lately. Gosh, look at the poor guy.
I'm dead, Wes. I'm dead of heartbreak.
I'm sorry. We'll find out more about that in a second, I guess. We will also talk about recent news, make predictions as usual, and then we're going to talk some food for fun. So, hey, more to follow on that exciting stuff ahead. Jesse, what's happening?
Happy to be back for part 2. Feel like I got a lot of feelings out on the last episode, so I think this one will be more positive and lighthearted.
Positivity. That's what it's all about.
But Mercury is still in retrograde.
It is.
And I saw a meme, and obviously if it's a meme, it has to be trusted, on Instagram that said that it's not just Mercury in retrograde, it's like 7 planets in retrograde.
Wow. So buckle up.
Yeah,
America.
everybody just drink water and mind your own business. Because that's the best thing to do right now.
Yeah, let's just look straight ahead and get through this. Matt, I know that you may not be. Are you conscious right now? Like
Texas.
Rude.
Texas.
So rude.
You had them. Just.
Is this so you had one job thing?
And then their quarterback had to go and completely squash any hopes and just.
I don't think he squashed. I think he lightly tiptoed on it because we only won by 1.
No. Listen, if it weren't for Bryce, y'all would have lost that game.
We almost lost it with
the. I know, but still, you should thank your lucky stars. He plays quarterback, and he's as talented as he is.
I am thanking my lucky stars for a lot of things. We should have lost that game.
That was psychotic.
Well, that's
psychosis.
It's perfect segue because now that Matt has joined us, we really would like to get our thoughts or his thoughts on the games from last week. Anything more on Bama, Texas? Any other games? I know you probably want to talk about Tennessee a little bit. What you got?
Yeah, so Bama, Texas, I was really impressed with that game. It was a lot of fun to watch, especially as an outside observer. Deep in my heart of hearts, I have a little bit of a soft spot for Texas. I don't know if it's because we've basically been on the same trajectory for, I don't know, the last 20 some odd years. Except for that
similar shades of orange.
It's just kind of, yeah, and they kind of rock a power T2, so I can be fine with Texas. It was a great game. I really enjoyed watching it. It was an exciting finish. I really wish that Texas could have pulled that off. Sorry, Jesse. And that's not me being rude. That's just me wanting to see someone who's supposed to win lose.
I would have said the same thing about you.
I get it. Trust me, I get it. Something that I was really impressed with was Bama's defense in this game. They were flying all over the field in that game, and it was a lot of fun to watch that defense play. I'm hoping that they keep up that intensity going forward. I was thoroughly impressed with that team. I'm hoping that they make some waves when they play Oklahoma. I have a sneaking suspicion they're not going to, but we'll see how that goes. As far as the other games go, I want to take a moment to talk about Coach Drinky, and I would like to ask, how in the absolute blue you-know-where has he not gotten fired yet? Because I've been calling for his head since the day he was hired, and I'm trying to figure out why he's still there. And I want him fired now. Let's see. There was a couple of things. I'm sorry. I neglected to talk about the fact that they got blown out by Kansas State. So there's that. Yes.
Yeah.
Out. Bye. Let's see. Jimbo, baby. Jimbo, what is you doing, baby? Come on.
Not whispering to quarterbacks.
Apparently, I'm telling you, I think old Crab Legs was an aberration. I don't think he was the norm when it comes to quarterback development under Jimbo Fisher.
No.
Appalachian State shocks the world again after they
Again.
already did it to Michigan a couple of years ago, although that was probably eight or 9 years ago now. But
It was a long time ago. I think that was
it?
actually in the aughts. Now
Was
that we're,
it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think so.
Getting so old, Wes. Yeah, I again, it makes the conference look awful, just awful, but it's a lot of fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to circle back around the Tennessee game. We have things to discuss.
Yeah.
Kentucky pulling the one off against Florida. I'm all for it. I told y'all that Richardson wasn't that great. Didn't I say it last week? I said that, and he showed. I mean, he went 14 for 35 for 143 yards. Those are not Heisman numbers. Don't tell me he's the next Cam Newton. Sit down. Shut up. Don't say that. By the way, I would like to say that it's funny that we forgot about Vanderbilt.
We didn't even mean to.
I know. I even thought about them. It didn't make it to the notes for whatever reason. So
to the two Vanderbilt fans, we're sorry. We apologize profusely. We won't let that happen again. Georgia doing Georgia things, not shocking. But Jones got reamed out by Ohio State. I'm sorry. I was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 45-12. Way to go, botch. Auburn struggled mightily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did.
That's disconcerting. Ole Miss taking care of business. LSU taking care of business. Mississippi State and Arizona was a pretty interesting game for a while until Mississippi State pulled away from it. Now let's go back to my people. I don't know what in the world was going on offensively for the first half of that game with Tennessee. That looked like Tennessee week 2 last year, not Tennessee week 10 last year. I was really, really shocked how bad the offense played through most of that game. It seemed like, granted, they still got 416 yards of offense, but I don't know. It seemed like we didn't play real well. Special teams had a rough day. Defense did a decent job of kind of holding things down, I felt like, in spots, but that was just a crazy, crazy game. I unfortunately did not get to see the finish because I had a prior engagement I had to go to. I had to go watch a play with my wife. I was definitely checking the score on my watch most of the play. But, going into overtime, I was like, oh, this has got shades of the Music City Bowl and all the other bad sort of situations that Tennessee's ended up in the last couple of years. So it's nice for a change to have a Tennessee team come out of an overtime period with a win. So I am hoping that we use this week against Akron as a tune-up to get ourselves ready because, Florida's coming in a couple weeks. So I'm a little concernicus. Although I don't think Pitt's as bad as people make them out to be. I mean, they did just come off a ACC conference championship. That's not that great, mind you, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm hopeful, but I'm also cautious. I don't know. I don't know
who else is also hopeful.
Who's that?
Heupel. Sorry, I was just trying to.
Heupel was definitely hopeful. Yeah. By the way, I want big kudos to Cedric Tillman for his performance in that game. Kid can ball all day, every day.
Well, I was going to mention that about Heupel. I know you're a little bit concernicus, as you mentioned, but what do you think about Tennessee's ability to last beyond 60 minutes into the overtime period and not give up? I mean, like Heupel was saying, even in his post-game interview, saying that it just shows the growth of the program. And, he wasn't saying that, oh, yeah, if we were put in this same situation last year with the overtime and everything. I know they lost last year, but situation was a little bit different. But you could tell that he was satisfied in terms of growth, that they had been able to hang in there for 60 minutes plus against a quality opponent. Yeah,
I feel like he's got a point. I feel like this team's definitely maturing. This team's, granted, there's still pops and whistles that need to get taken care of. But I feel like Tennessee did a pretty good job of staying with it, not getting frustrated, playing their game, and making a situation where they could have lost that game easily a couple of times. They did everything in the book that you can do to lose a game.
Yeah.
But somehow they still managed to find a way to win. And good teams find ways to win. Isn't that right, Jesse?
Yes. Even if it's like in the last few minutes. And you don't deserve it. That's
all right. No, Texas should have won that game. It's kind of upsetting. So yeah, it was a good weekend for football. I thoroughly enjoyed most of those games.
It was a chaotic weekend, that's for sure. We need to figure out some kind of category for teams like Mizzou, and Auburn, and I guess even A&M to a certain extent now, who are struggling against teams that they shouldn't struggle.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed category.
By the way, I neglected to talk about, and granted they're out of conference, but I'm going to go ahead and point and laugh at Notre Dame.
Yeah, that was.
That's a mess.
That was a shocker.
Mess. That's
so great.
Yeah, and what was the other ones we talked about? BYU and Baylor. Wasn't there another one?
I missed that one.
I can't remember. Yeah, we talked about several outside the conference very briefly.
Vanderbilt got stomped.
Oh yeah. That was not pretty.
Probably the best we forgot about.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Matt, for your thoughts on the week games from last week. Let's talk about some brief news that was just recently announced.
Here's the news.
All right. So in a move that satisfies all of the college football fans across the board, at least mostly, we're still hoping for a different day. But anyway, the national championship has been moved from an 8:20 kickoff to 7:30 p.m. So we might get done before midnight. So I don't know about you guys, but regardless of who's playing, I'm definitely looking forward to not staying up way late on a weeknight, nonetheless.
Exactly. And as someone who's had to watch a lot of the late ones because we were participating in it.
You hear yourself, Jesse, sometimes.
No, it's just not good for your health.
I stayed up so late watching Bama win another national championship.
You want to know how I stayed up late last
year?
And then I was mad and tired. I was just a really grumpy gremlin the next day.
Yeah.
See, they need to fix that and just put it on Saturday.
Yeah.
Or something.
You can start the game at 10:30. Nobody will care.
Exactly.
I'm already
on Saturday.
Sundays. I already have Sunday scaries. Add to them. I don't care.
Yeah, put more crap on Sunday. Sunday'd be fine for it too.
Yeah.
Play that game on a Saturday.
So, yeah, I think everyone was collectively excited about an earlier kickoff. However, everyone was also like, just move it to a different day as well. Mm-hmm. Just you've already fixed it a little bit. Just fix it all the way. So, cool.
Everybody knows the Emmys moved because it's not whatever. They say they were honoring September 11th. I don't think they were. I think they knew that NFL was kicking off and that their ratings were not going to be as good with NFL on.
Their ratings are already garbage to begin with.
They were already garbage. So they moved it. And they still had like 4 million less people than the NFL games did. But even they moved their stuff. We can move it.
Can do it. We can do the hard things, right? So, all right. Let's go ahead and move from that segment to the speed round.
Speed round.
All right. Let's.
I love that so much.
I know. Me too. It was a lot of fun to make too. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the speed round. And Jesse, let's start with you. What shocked you the most this weekend? Bama against A&M, or I'm sorry, Bama against Texas, struggling against Texas, A&M getting beaten at home by App State, or Kentucky beating Florida in the Swamp?
Honestly, I think it's going to be A&M getting beat by Appalachian State. Like, I know that Bama was a 20-point favorite. I get that, but I still think you have a former Alabama assistant who knows this, this program. Everybody was hating on Texas. They had fire just fueling them. So while I was horrified, I don't think that is like out of the realm of possibility. A&M getting beaten by Appalachian State at home.
So wild.
Shocking. And they paid him to do it.
A lot
of money.
They paid them a lot of money. A lot of money.
$1.5 million to get beaten. Am I shocked? Yes. Am I elated? Also, yes. Am I a troll? Yes.
Matt, your thoughts?
I'm gonna have to also go with the whole A&M App State game because I'm trying to find the line on that game before kickoff.
Was there even a line, or was it one of those that was just like
I'm
blank?
sure there had to have been a line.
Big.
It was. Oh, actually, I might. I'm gonna say while you're looking there.
I don't see it. Well, I can tell you right now that there was an 82% chance, according to Fan Nation, that A&M was going to win this ballgame. But yeah, and the problem with the A&M App State game is it wasn't the fact that A&M lost. That by itself was psychotic and nutso. But the way that they lost was just mind-numbing, just absolutely mind-blowing. Because when you look at the team stats, and I'm trying to pull them up, let's see. Texas A&M was 2 for 8 on third down. Their offense got 180 yards of total offense. 97 of those in the air. The rest was on the ground. That's not a good outing. They had 7 penalties for 60 yards. They had 2 turnovers. Time of possession, which is a great indication for how your football game's going. Appalachian State 41-29, Texas A&M 18-17. So
I found the line if you want to know it. So they went into the game, A&M did, with an 82.5% chance to beat them. And the matchup, A&M was a 17-point favorite. And the over-under was 55.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's probably the most surprising game of this weekend is that A&M game.
Wes, can you read what you texted us?
Yeah, I actually pulled it up because I thought it was very pertinent.
Is it podcast appropriate, Wes?
It is. It's just it's literally just a summary, but it's baffling.
It would be funny if it was.
The summary is baffling.
It's all beeps all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's just beep, 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 beep. All right. So Aggies quarterback Haynes King was 13 of 20 for 97 yards in the loss to App State. He was under pressure on only 3 of his 24 dropbacks and not blitzed once, according to PFF. King was 0 for 2 on deep balls, meaning 20 yards plus, and one of 4 on medium passes, 10 to 19 yards. King ran 4 times for 27 yards and fumbled twice. That's not great.
For those of you that are not familiar with football statistics, that's really bad.
And I shudder to think what the QBR was. I think I actually heard it, but I can't remember the exact number.
Find it. Give me a second.
It was low. It was low.
Like in the 10.
It would have to be. Here we go. QBR for that game. 21.3.
Yeah, it was
bad.
I would actually go with that too. So in the speed round, I mean, obviously it was a big shocker for sure, but that actually brings us to the next question in the speed round perfectly. So should Jimbo Fisher stick with Haynes King, who hasn't looked great at all in his first 2 starts, or should he give LSU transfer Max Johnson or true freshman Connor Wakeman, I don't know if I'm saying that right, a try? Matt, let's start with you.
I don't know. Listen, it's obvious that Haynes King struggled. Well, again, it's just like any other time. We don't see what these kids look like at practice. We don't know about the work that goes into it. A lot of it's guesswork from our end of the thing. So Jimbo's going to have to make a call there. But if Haynes King comes out and plays another game like that again, especially against an SEC opponent, they're going to start. The Boo Birds will come out in Aggieville, and they will start calling for somebody's head. So they're going to have to make a move if he continues to struggle like that. I don't recall. Let me see if I could pull it up. I don't recall what he looked like previously in the other games that they've had thus far.
So he was hurt a lot of last year, right? So that's why Calzada was the starter.
I've been trying to remember Calzada's name for since we've been recording, and I couldn't think of it. All I could think of was either calzone or salsa.
I mean, close enough.
It's not it.
Right.
So it looks
people
like
in Auburn are saying the same thing.
Against Sam Houston State, he went 20 for 31 for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns. So obviously that was against a team that isn't of the caliber as Appalachian State. And by the way, who in the world decided during the yell thing that they needed to talk that kind of crap about Appy State? Like, who okayed that? Why do you let that happen? Sorry, I know
Because
I
that
wasn't
is
on
a
Tuesday. So,
student-led organization, and 21-year-olds are in charge.
well, yeah, but have some.
They need to have some kind of supervision for
No,
the midnight
they
yell.
don't. They don't. They need to recruit smarter people. Is what they need to do. By the way,
Right,
Texas
that's part
A&M
of
has
the
to play
qualification.
Miami next week.
Right.
I can't wait to talk about that one.
Ugh.
You're excited.
Oh God.
Yeah. Jesse, your thoughts? Should they go with
I
someone else?
mean, I think in the post game, Jimbo already said that they were planning on making a change at quarterback. So I would be surprised if either of those two did not start. But it's like Matt said, we don't know what they look like in practice. However, when you lose to an opponent like that at home, that's very concerning. And you put up those stats. Now, there could have been something happening in his personal life. I don't know. There could have been a lot of things that factored into his performance, but I would not be surprised if he does start Johnson. However, I think that also continues to deflate confidence, and I just don't know. I don't know how beneficial it is. So I guess that's why they pay him the big bucks.
I love a good quarterback controversy. So this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't help
And
it.
Jimbo's the quarterback whisperer, so I'm sure they're all fantastic.
Yeah. So
is kind of a quarterback whisperer, Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. If anybody deserves that title, probably him.
I'll say it.
So it's interesting. So you guys talk about, you never know what somebody looks like in practice. And a couple of years ago, Dwan Mathis was really being hyped up at Georgia, going into the first game of the season. Looked great. David Pollock used his favorite analogy, said he can sling it through a car wash and not get it wet. He says that a lot. Anyway, so he was being hyped up like crazy, and then he gets in a game situation, and it's not the same as practice. And actually, Stetson Bennett ended up coming in that game a couple of years ago. So, but it's just like we said, he could look great in practice, but we don't know how he's how the game affects people. And I know he's seen other real game situations, but maybe when things start not going your way, maybe things change a little bit in your mind. I don't know. So, all right. Well, let's see. What's the next one? All right. Our next one, Jesse, let's start with you again this time. Coach Drinky will be gone either during this season or after the season is over. What do you think?
I think after the season is over, likely. I just don't know. I know that they fired the coach at Nebraska. I don't know that that's the guy you just pick up mid-season to come in. And obviously they would get somebody interim, but I think after the season is over, somehow Mizzou has been very patient with him thus far. He's lasted a lot longer than I thought. So at this point, I don't expect them to fire him mid-season. I think they'll be patient even more and cut him at the end of the season, but he's got to go. And if he doesn't, then Mizzou, we need to sit down, because this seems like an abusive relationship where you're just letting this man hurt you, and you don't have to.
You don't have to. Matt, what do you think?
Do you want the analytical part of what I think should happen or what I want to happen?
I want whatever you got, man.
Okay. I just pulled up Drinky's score. His win-loss record right now.
It says that with such disdain.
I did, because I have nothing but disdain for the man. In his head coaching record, he is 24-14. So at least he has a winning record there. The problem is that since he came to Missouri, he is 12-13. So with that in mind, I don't see they've given him 3 years. It depends on how bad things go over the next couple months. If they're getting nuked by people, then I could see them making a move. If they're competitive and lose games by a touchdown or a field goal, and they're, finish mid-range or lower third of the SEC East, I could see them potentially giving him another year. They gave Butch 5 years. And they had plenty of plethora of reasons to fire that guy. So I don't know. All I know is that they're paying him how much right now? His annual salary is $4 million a year to go 5-5, 6-7, and 1-1.
I feel like I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take $4 million.
You know what would be really fun and what would be really kind of funny?
What's that?
If they fire Drinky after the end of the season. Let's say they go 6-7. All right. They fire him at the end of the season. And then they announce after the bowls have gone through early January. And as they announce, they decide to play a little music, and we get a banjo. And then a certain Ed Ogeron kicks in the door and says that he's the head coach at Missouri now.
Oh my God.
All while drinking a fifth of whiskey. That would be just the absolute best thing ever.
I would love that.
Me too. Or what if they went and got Hugh Freeze? He's still hanging around too.
Isn't Les Miles in need of a job? Where's he at?
Well, I don't even know where Les Miles is. He's still alive.
Les was at Kansas, and he left under not so great circumstances.
That's right. There was some shenanigans at Kansas. There
were some accusations, and honestly, I haven't heard anything since then. But I haven't heard anything about old Les lately. I think he'll probably. I was thinking that Drinky was going to make it to the end of the season. However, Jesse, you said something that blew my mind. Talking about Scott Frost. Mm-hmm. What if they got a guy who his stock is kind of low right now? However, probably a decent coach, who everybody was high on a few years ago, right? Scott Frost, one of the hottest names in coaching searches, yeah, I mean, what if they could swing that deal because maybe he might be more willing to go, to a school like Mizzou.
It might be a little easier for him to recruit at Mizzou. I don't know. Maybe not though. I don't know. I'm just as likely to go to Nebraska as I am to Mizzou, but maybe. Right now, I think he's probably feeling very agitated and open to deals and negotiations. So if they throw a big enough paycheck, who knows? Money talks.
Who can we take out? I love how we're already doing the carousel and the man hadn't even gotten fired yet. Who can we take out of mothballs to put the headset back on? Les is an option. Sure. Why not?
What's Derek Mason doing?
Who?
Derek Mason. He left Auburn. Where did he go after he left Auburn? There's always Bob Stoops.
Good God. There was talk that they were going to hire him at no, not Stoops. It was I just had a brain fart. He was just with the Jaguars. Urban Meyer. There was talk they were going to hire Urban Meyer at Nebraska.
Yeah.
I think people are done with Urban by now. I think they just
gotta be. Let it rest.
I don't know.
Derek Mason he's the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State.
Okay. What's old headset doing? Spurrier.
Headset?
Yeah.
Spurrier?
So he's enjoying.
Oh, dear Lord.
He's like living the executive life down in Florida now. He
might have a year left. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, he spent all that time trying to build South Carolina into something after Lou Holtz left. So
he decently built them, and it
worked for a bit.
They weren't like perennial powerhouse or anything, but they were much improved.
Yep, they would worry people.
Yeah.
There's got to be some coach in I don't know, somewhere in the Big Ten that wants to go somewhere slightly warmer.
Yeah. I was if another name comes to mind, I'm gonna say it, but I can't think of any right now off the top. Okay, so that gets us through the speed round. Let's talk about some of these upcoming games.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the noon kickoffs. Georgia, 2-0 at South Carolina, 1-1, 0-1 in the SEC. That is on ESPN at noon if you'd like to watch. So let's start with you, Jesse. What are your expectations and predictions for this game?
I think we saw a little bit of life in South Carolina last weekend against Arkansas. They're on the up and up. They're building their program, but it's just not there yet. They still have a lot of growing pains to get through. Spencer Rattler needs to adjust. The team needs to adjust around him. So I gotta go with UGA, which should come as no surprise, and nobody else should pick another team in this game. But I'm picking UGA 54-24, and I think a lot of the points for South Carolina are going to come in garbage time.
Okay, Matt.
It's a good call, Jesse. I like that. South Carolina used to be a trap game for Georgia. Notice
Very
I said
much.
used to be. This game will not be a trap game for Georgia. I don't foresee South Carolina being able to do much offensively speaking or defensively speaking. I think Georgia's going to score at will. I think the underclassmen are going to get in early. So I'm going to say UGA wins 48-14. And I will go with Jesse and say both of those touchdowns are going to come in garbage time.
Okay. Georgia has not allowed a touchdown yet. Just putting that out there. But
and it's a lot of field goals.
to be fair, they haven't played anybody either, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we didn't know that going into the first game, and we still don't. We'll see how Oregon does the rest of the season. But yeah, I get you. I understand.
No offense, Wes.
No, none taken. We'll see what happens against more quality teams. But all right, yeah, I think South Carolina is on the rise, as you said, Jesse. Though an upset of Georgia might be a little bit further down the road, I think, for Beamer. I don't think it's going to be this year. I just think that the defense is going to overwhelm Rattler. And I think that'll be kind of one of the key matchups in this game. So I got Georgia winning this one 38-10. Yes, that does include.
Does anybody else feel nervous about picking like the obvious team after last week?
Right.
Nah, that was
after last week, all bets are off. Mercury is still in retrograde.
Everyone's in retrograde.
What date did I say? It's till like October something.
Yeah, it's like
8th or 9th or something like that. I don't know. All right, let's talk about.
By the way, before we move away from South Carolina, I need Shane Beamer to stop celebrating field goals like he just won a national championship. He's becoming a meme. It's getting ridiculous.
Hey, I appreciate the man showing some support.
No. You do like every other winning football coach in the SEC goes, all right, we got some points. Defense,
he's not a winning coach yet.
Well, that's a good point.
All right, Shane, if you're listening to this, like no more emotion.
Dad.
Shane, I don't care if you show emotion. Just show it in the right places. Hitting a field goal when you're down by 4 scores is not the time to celebrate a field goal. It's
Matt,
not.
I need you
like
to teach.
The parent that doesn't understand the activity that you've chosen to do, and they go to it, and they're just like, "Yay, things are happening."
Matt, I need you to teach a class showing emotion at the proper times with Matt Fortson.
I would probably get in trouble
on today's lesson. Yeah.
What's the proper way to show that you're frustrated with your defensive line? Let me show you.
Let's talk about Youngstown State, the Penguins. Nonetheless, at 2-0, currently at Kentucky, also 2-0, noon on SEC Network. Jesse, your thoughts on this matchup?
I keep changing my things, so it's fine.
How dare you?
Obviously, I'm going to pick Kentucky at this one. I think it's going to be 31-13 because I don't know much about the Penguins.
Matt.
Well, I want to point out the Youngstown State is undefeated right now. They have 2 wins, one over Duquette and one over Dayton, and they won both of those games handedly. And we all know that Duquette and Dayton are football powerhouses. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Youngstown State. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with Kentucky just like everybody else, 38-10.
Well, they may be the mighty Penguins, but I think they're gonna get beaten in this one. I got Kentucky 45-10 on this one.
By the way, how the heck do you settle on Penguins as your mascot?
I don't know, but it's so fun.
I mean, it's all right, but
it's so fun. They were probably like, we want a mascot that nobody else has. And it's like, well, what's available? And then like the random intern was like, we could be Penguins.
Well, it lends itself to 2 fun mascots. Just first of all, a costume, and then second of all, the a live mascot possibility, and a little, like a little cooler enclosure over there in the corner.
Well,
That'd be pretty cool.
Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be pretty fun.
I just looked it up, and they literally were sitting around in the gym. In the gym, and someone said we should be the Penguins, and everybody was like, "Yeah, that sounds great."
Yeah,
that's
it's worked decently for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I mean, that makes sense. They're on ice, for goodness sake. Anyway,
Youngstown in the winter is probably on ice a lot, so
that's probably true.
All right, let's talk about the Abilene Christian Wildcats at 2-0 at Missouri at 1-1, noon on ESPN Plus. Jesse, your thoughts on this one?
I'm calling it.
Don't do it.
Snap!
Don't do it.
I'm calling the upset alert. Ding, ding, ding,
She did it.
She's doing it.
I'm picking Abilene Christian. I know in years past they were pretty decent at baseball, which has no translation to football, but I have trust issues after last week, and I think Mizzou is trash. So I'm picking Abilene Christian in a close one, 28-24.
Of all the ones to pick, I cannot argue with that logic.
I love it when Jesse goes all in on teams. You're garbage.
Right. Matt, what are your thoughts on this one?
Listen, as much as I would love to pick Abilene Christian and to see Coach Trinky get that much closer to getting fired, I'm
what do you do to you, Matt?
I'm gonna. Do you want that list categorically or chronologically? Because I can.
You personally?
Yes. Yes. I was. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Missouri 21-17. This will be a close one, but they'll find a way to pull it off, I guess.
All right. Yeah, I'm going not quite that close. I'm going to go Mizzou 38-21 in this one. I don't know why. I should have less faith in them, but going with that. All right, let's go to Ole Miss at 2-0, at Georgia Tech 1-1, 3:30 on ABC. Jesse, your thoughts on Ole Miss at Georgia Tech?
Yeah, I think this one is kind of a no-brainer. It's an ACC team and one that's not even that great. So I'm going to pick Ole Miss, as everyone else should, 38-13.
Matt.
Yeah, I have a hard time imagining. This is not Georgia Tech in 1991. I'm sorry, it's not. This is not a Tech under Paul Johnson, and this is not a Georgia Tech team that's going to be able to hang. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Ole Miss win this thing 42-10.
And they lost their running back to us.
Oh, I did not hear that part. That's
true. I do know that Luke Altmaier left the last game with an upper body injury. But honestly, I don't really think it matters who starts here at quarterback. I'm still going to go with Ole Miss winning this one 38-24. Let's move to Penn State 2-0 at Auburn, also 2-0, 3:30 on CBS. Jesse, what are your predictions for this game?
I'm excited for this one just because I think it was last year that was pretty good. I mean, it
wild
was
one
at Penn State last year, but this one was really fun to watch. I'm hoping it will be fun this year, but I don't have confidence in Auburn. So I'm picking Penn State 31-20, and either I'm going to really go up in the pick'em or I'm just going to further go in the hole. And so either way, whatever. I'm doubling down.
It's fair. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Auburn's chances here only because they're at home and this is a premier game. It's a 3:30 slot on CBS, so it's going to be hopping. There's also rumors I've been hearing from a friend of mine who's an Auburn fan that says that there are plans to wear orange jerseys for this game. Yeah, I was unaware that Auburn had orange jerseys.
I've never seen that.
They wore them once for, I want to say it was some bowl game or something. He told me about it the other day. It would be, maybe that'll give them a little bit of an edge. You know, if you look good, you feel good, you play good.
I don't know. Sometimes when you change up the jerseys, just ask Georgia when they decided to do that blackout in what was it, 2008 or 9?
I think it was 9.
2009. They did the blackout and they were.
It worked against Auburn.
It did not go well. A lot of times teams do that and it does not go well.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be. I have faith that Auburn with that environment in that afternoon. If it was a night game, I'd pick Auburn by at least another score. But with it being a day game, I like Auburn's chances, so I'm picking Auburn 21-20.
Yeah, I know it's in Auburn. I still don't have a good feeling about this. Rumors are that the ashes of all the burnt sweater vests have been lost. And
they lost their juju.
Yeah, it's just there's no more of that crazy magic going on right now down there. So I think as much as I hate to pick against the conference, I'm going to have to go with Penn State on this one, and a close one, 27-24. So, but should be fun to watch. It should be a good one, I think. All right, let's move to Vanderbilt at 2-1 at the Northern Illinois Huskies at 1-1, 3:30 on CBS Sports Network. Jesse, what's your prediction?
I'm going to pick with the conference this time, not by a lot. I'm gonna go. My dog is very passionate about this particular one. I'm gonna go with Vandy 28-17. I knew people that went to Northern Illinois, and they never mentioned football. So
I love that. That's just such a great real life experience there. So
yeah,
I
you
love
know what? You come to Pigskins and Pageantry for my excellent ability to pick with solid reasoning.
But it is all built on logic, and I love it. So,
Sometimes.
Matt, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt's going to have to. If you lose to Northern Illinois, I think we need to take a vote of the fan base from the entire conference and vote y'all out. Yeah, I'm going to pick Vanderbilt here, 21-14.
All right, Vandy fans, don't hate me.
No, he's not.
It's close,
You're
but
doing it.
I think being at home gives the Huskies the edge. I think it's already close. It's close. And I hate to do it, but I'm going to go with Northern Illinois 31-28. So
Okay.
sorry, Vandy.
You absolute madman, you.
I probably should have flipped this. I probably should have gone with Vandy and then gone against Mizzou, but hey, this is what we got. So we'll see what happens. Let's move to UL Monroe. I know that's a touchy subject, Jesse. It's a long time ago, but wounds are still fresh. 1-1 at Alabama, 2-0, 4:00 on SEC Network. All right, Jesse, what are your thoughts on this one?
Wounds may still be fresh, as they always will be. However, Nick Saban is mad.
Oh, he big mad.
Big mad about last week. We all big mad. And I think the team is embarrassed. And what better way
to
deal with those feelings than to stomp UL Monroe at home in Bryant-Denny Stadium with 101,000 of your closest friends. I'm picking the Tide 54-10.
All right.
That 10 comes in garbage time.
Okay, yeah. Matt.
I want to point out, by the transitive property of football, UL Monroe played Texas in week 1 and lost 53-10. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Texas and Bama apparently are somewhat close at this point. I know that's a frightening thought, isn't it? So I'm going to say that Bama gets close to that same score, but actually exceeds it because they're super pissed and they big mad. And so because they big mad, and I'm sure Nick Saban probably made them run gassers the minute they got back to Tuscaloosa on Saturday.
Tackling drills whole day.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. So I'm going to say that they're going to be very angry, frustrated, and out for blood. And I'm going to say that Bama throttles them 63-10.
The thought of Nick Saban in the locker room going, "Well, you should be embarrassed," is just hilarious to me. Yeah, this is a no-brainer here. Bama wins big, as you said, big mad. Lots of adjustments made this week, I'm sure. Plus it's UL Monroe. I'm going with Bama 55-7. Next is Mississippi State at 2-0 at LSU.
Finally, some conference play.
I know, at 1-1. Well, we had South Carolina and Georgia earlier, but yeah, I know what you mean. This one should actually be a pretty good one, I think. It's 6:00 on ESPN. Jesse, what is your prediction for this matchup?
I'm changing everything. Because at first I didn't look where the game was, or the time. And that
was it a night game? Oh,
it's 6 p.m.
Yeah, that's true.
So
easing into nighttime.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my pick. I'm going to say Mississippi State takes this one. However, I think it's, I'm going to change again. I think it's, I'm just like thinking in my head and talking myself out of it. Picking Mississippi State. However, it is a close one because it's in Death Valley at a somewhat night game. That's a hard place to go. So Mississippi State 35-31.
Okay.
Matt, your prediction.
Line on this game's 2.5 right now. Favoring Mississippi State. So it's going to be tight. It's going to be close. But with LSU in the evening, sun starts to come down on the bayou a little bit. Things get kind of weird. The voodoo gets kicked on. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with LSU in this one. I'm going to say LSU wins 28-24.
Okay.
You think Brian Kelly can do it?
I think he's got it.
Oh.
Guys, this is a big win from Mike Leach in Baton Rouge.
Well, you better hope it is.
It's so I'm going with the same score, just in reverse. So I got Mississippi State winning this one 28-24. I think Will Rogers has a night against a very lackluster LSU defense, and yeah, I think it's still going to be close, but going to be a big win for Mike. So, and I can't wait to hear the interviews afterwards if that indeed does happen. But either way, should be a good game. Can't wait to watch that one. All right, let's move to the Missouri State Bears at 2-0. At Arkansas, also 2-0. This is 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Jesse, your prediction.
I got to go with Arkansas. I was really encouraged last week with the performance by KJ Jefferson and just the way they spread the ball around. I think their defense is getting much better. So I also don't know much about the Bears.
Go Bears.
I'm going to go with Arkansas 31-17.
Matt, your thoughts?
If I have to if I've never heard of your football team, I immediately think
don't go the route of the Aggie midnight yell. I had to Google
these
this
rednecks.
team.
They can't even find the stadium because they can't even read. We're gonna send them back to hang out with their sisters. What is Missouri State? The premier flagship school in the state can't even hang at all. Why is the subpar? It's not. I'm not even going to wax. No, Missouri State's going to lose this ball game. Arkansas rolls 42-14. I was going to try and be funny. I'm not going to be funny. This isn't funny. They're going to beat the crap out of these kids. Just go ahead and move on.
To quote, remember the Titans, zero fun, sir. All right. Yeah, I think so. The ironic thing is last week, I think when we were picking, we said a lot of these games aren't about who's going to win. Obviously, we know who's going to win. It's the amount, right? Mm-hmm. And then App State beats Texas A&M. So
shows you what we know, right?
Right. Well, I'm going to stick with Arkansas. I'm not going to get too crazy here, but I'm going to say Arkansas wins this one 52-6.
You're not going to get too crazy, and you said they hang a 50 burger on them?
Well, no, I mean, I'm not going to pick the upset. I'm not going to get crazy like that. Yeah. So, all right, let's I can't even say this one with a straight face. Let's talk about the Akron Zips.
What does that mascot look like?
1-1. I got to look it up.
Kangaroo. It's a bloody kangaroo.
How fun.
Hey, again, a great opportunity for a costume, great opportunity for a live mascot that could potentially injure someone. Yeah, that's 1-1. The Akron Zips.
Kangaroos in Akron?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I wonder what the motivation behind that was. Oh, we can research that while the others are talking. But at Tennessee at 2-0, 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Jesse, what is your prediction for the Zips at the Vols?
I think the Zips are not going to be too zippy in Knoxville. I'm going to go with the Vols 35-10.
That is the name of the mascot, by the way, Zippy.
Oh, that's
it's not. It's football.
It was chosen by committee.
Would that be something that I would brag about?
Of course it was chosen by committee. This is the reason why committees don't work.
Can you imagine just we have the elephant. We have this really scary elephant in our throwback logo, and it looks really cool. You're just a little kangaroo on your shirt, just wearing it.
So this is fun. This actually makes sense in a circular kind of way. So the not the kangaroo, but the name Zips is the shortening of zippers, which is a pair of rubber overshoes and a brand name of the B.F. Goodrich Company of Akron.
God, I hate the Midwest.
Isn't it? It's we took a long road to get there, but here we are. So, Matt, did you give your score prediction?
No.
Okay, yeah. What you got?
Fire, damnation, all sorts of death and destruction. It will be a bloodbath. I'm sending Tennessee wins this thing 45-14.
Okay, 45-14. I'm not gonna disagree there. I got Tennessee winning this one 58-10. Yeah. So lots of fun. By the way, I
want to point out that Akron played Michigan State last week and lost 52-0. So
Yeah, that
Ohio
In
things
fact, now
are
that I think about it, I'm changing my score. Hold on a second. I'm not going to do 45-14. I'm going to do 48.
I'm seeing
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
48-6. Didn't want to put that 50 burger up there, but I think it's going to happen. So, all right, let's talk about the South Florida Bulls at 1-1 at Florida. The Bulls 1-1, 7:30 on SEC Network. Jesse, what is your prediction for the Bulls at the Gators?
It's like Florida and Arkansas don't have to travel or something. Like all of their games are home games. I don't understand. But I was very discouraged by Florida last week, specifically Richardson. So I am going to pick the Gators in this. However, I don't think it's a blowout. I'm going with UF 28-17.
Okay,
28-17. Matt, what you got?
Yeah, Florida is not going to have any trouble here, I don't think, especially if this is a team that, couldn't hang with BYU, and surely Florida is better than BYU. So yeah, I know. I'm going to say Florida wins this thing 42-13.
Yeah, I think as with some of these other games that we've seen, there's going to be the lack of pressure there is going to help Richardson reach his full potential here. Not to say that he can't handle the pressure, but I think that definitely helps in this one. So the fact that they're facing the Bulls, I'm going to go with Florida winning this one. What did I say? 42-17.
Wes is still high on Richardson. I see it, Wes. I see that you wanna believe. I get it.
It's one of those things. I kind of believe it when I see it. We've seen flashes in the past couple of years, but until it happens against a quality opponent, and then consistently, then I'll be there. All right, Miami 2-0 at Texas A&M at 1-1, 9 o'clock. It's a late one, 9 o'clock, because it is in Texas, on ESPN. Yeah. Jesse, your thoughts on this game?
So, a recent memory serves me that Texas A&M lost to App State. Odd makers still have the Aggies as a 5.5-point favorite, with nearly 2-1 money line odds. Now, Miami is not perfect, right? They may be 2-0, but they're not perfect. Sometimes their quarterback causes some issues in the secondary, and their front seven is all right. They might be able to do some stuff offensively. So I'm not giving Texas A&M the benefit of the doubt. I'm picking Miami in this one because I'm a hater, I'm a troll, and I think this quote-unquote underdog in Miami might be able to do it too. So I'm going to pick Miami in a close one, 35-31.
All right. It's bold. Matt, what do you got?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. See if it works out for him.
It probably won't, but I'm going to do it. Not. Doubling down.
First off, I want to point out the fact that Texas A&M is still ranked, and I'm trying to figure out how in the heck that happened. This is a tough one because part of me wants to pick Miami simply because they're on a run right now, and Miami can kind of sort of play, but the other part of me is going, surely Jimbo won't let them lose. Surely he won't let that happen. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Texas A&M. It's going to be tight. I don't want to pick Tech. I want Miami to win this game just for the chaos. But I'm going to say Tammy wins this thing 28-24.
Okay, 28-24. All right. As in the words of White Goodman, are you ready for the hurricane? No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that's going to happen. I will go with A&M, but it is going to be close. I'm going to go 24-21. So I'm
going to be performing a lot of chaos magic this weekend.
It should be wild. I'm telling you, another wild weekend ahead of us, I think.
There's some good games on the slate this weekend. There really are.
It's kind of a sneaky week because at first glance you're like, not a great opponent, not a great opponent. But then you start to look at some of these others like a Mississippi State, LSU, Miami A&M, even Penn State, Auburn.
I think that game's going to be barn burner, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of good ones out there. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. All right. Well, that brings us to our Just for Fun segment, and in a fun, different way to look at food, which we've talked about a lot on here about, what would each coach, what's their favorite meal, what would they order at a bar, et cetera, et cetera. But let's kind of take a different take on that, on the food and drink category. And instead of all that stuff, let's imagine that you get to pick one of the SEC coaches to cook you a meal. Who are you going to pick to cook you that meal, and why? Jesse, let's start with you. What do you got?
So I did not prepare for this. I just like to hear these questions off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And word vomit out what I think. There's two that come to mind. So I will say one, and then if no one says the second one afterwards, I'll follow up. And it's not necessarily who I would want to cook me a meal. It's just who I think I know what they would make.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Kirby Smart.
Okay.
And Kirby has this, to me, he just looks like that dad that wears New Balances and goes to Home Depot on the weekends. He's living his best life. And I think he's going to make what I call white people tacos, where he goes to the grocery store and he gets the, just the box that has the kit, right? And he knows how to brown ground beef. And he just is like so proud because he has somehow managed to make something that resembles a meal. And it's like spicy. And he makes white people tacos.
Okay. And that's what you want that. It's not, yeah, okay.
I don't know that I want it. I just think that's what I know.
You want to see it. Yeah.
I'm confident in that one. He shows up. He's like, he's wearing the visor. He just like brings it on a platter. And you're just like, oh, you said you were making something gourmet. And you're like, he's like, yeah.
Fun fact.
I made tacos.
He does have a visor that matches his pajamas as well. That he always, because he's always has a visor.
God, I hate it so much.
Hey, also, I got this picante sauce. If you want to drizzle it on your tacos, I will spice to it.
Where'd that come from? Not New York City, right?
Yeah. It's like,
Kirby Smart's such a frat dad. It really is. It's so.
Okay, so Jesse, your answer is Kirby Smart and white people tacos. All right. So, Matt, who is your choice?
Seeing how we're sticking with the more comical end of things, I want to point out that I want this in no way, shape, form, or fashion. But I think that Drinky would make a hell of a charcuterie board.
I thought that too.
And I'm not a charcuterie board kind of guy. Like, I'm meat and potatoes. What is this? I can't eat. Like, there's cheese on here that smells like feet. I don't want to eat this. But I have a sneaky suspicion he would probably be really good at it. He would take a lot of pride in it. He would probably be so enthused about the idea of building a charcuterie board and showing off his presentation skills. He would probably have several different bottles of wine to pair with said charcuterie board.
No doubt.
He just strikes me as that type. That's the funny ha-ha kind of pick. The other pick I'm thinking is Sam Pittman.
I was waiting.
And Sam Pittman probably is the master of the grill. There's just something about him that strikes me as being really good at grilling things. Like he'd be out there grilling like grilled mac and cheese and burgers and steak and just really good stuff.
So that man can cook a peach pie on a grill.
Yeah, I bet he can.
I mean, he's got the name. He is the pit master. So
that's true. I didn't even make that connection.
He smokes that brisket overnight.
Oh, you want to talk about it? Just falls apart. You don't actually have to slice it. It just crumbles. It just falls apart.
Swallow it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Well, I think that's a good one. So, I was actually going to go with Kirby Smart as well. And this is interesting. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Kirby Smart is really, really passionate about food. And if you don't believe me, let's just listen to a clip of him talking about it.
All I want to do is f***ing eat. I want you to eat. I want you to eat. I want you to want this shit. Do you want it? Do you want it? Show me.
You guys remember when that footage leaked of the pep talk that he was giving the team?
No, I don't.
You guys don't remember that?
Which
Man.
year?
I think it was like 2 years ago.
Was it when they were about to play Bama?
Maybe. And I'm not sure which game though. Because it came out, somebody had it on like it was posted on Twitter of somebody.
That's right. I feel like there was other stuff in there where he was like hating on Bama, and we were all like, what the hell?
Somebody was like videoing on their iPhone a video on a laptop of oh man, yeah. And yeah, if you could hear the audio from any coach's pep talk, it would be quite interesting. But yeah, I thought when I was thinking about food, I was like, wait a second, that'd be perfect. So I think that's as you said, the comical choice. You guys have already taken, huh? What's he making? Gosh, I don't know. After that, I mean, anything.
He's making you feel this small.
Anything with that amount of intensity, I think it could probably be cooked pretty well.
Tacos.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go with that because that's probably what it is, or whatever. But
white people tacos.
You took some good ones. You took Sam Pittman, I think, is like a no-brainer because the dude is like, that's just but I think one that should get an honorable mention is Mike Leach, because that he is eating some strange stuff, probably some pirate themed stuff.
Going on a quail hunt.
Oh, dude, yeah, he's got like
before your dinner and shooting it from the sky himself.
I guarantee you that man's had a turducken. I guarantee it, he's had a turducken.
Absolutely. With a old-fashioned musket, not a rifle.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that there's some stuffed pheasant on his table. We're talking just like wild cuisine. So I think that should definitely get an honorable mention.
My second one didn't get sent, so I'm going to say
go for it.
I'm going to pick Lane Kiffin, and Lane is not what you would call a cook. Yeah. Lane is the guy that's like, I'm gonna make you dinner, and you're like, oh, that's so nice, and you go over and he's got like Coke cans, and then he's like, if you want something nicer, I do have Natty in the fridge. And then he also has gotten like appetizers that are Cheetos, and he swung by Taco Bell and got the family pack.
He got the big box of them.
He got the big box. So that is what I think Lane is cooking.
If you're lucky, you might have gotten a cheesesteak quesadilla in there.
Yeah, he's cooking as fast as his fingers can dial. It's just.
And I love that.
I bet he wears out Uber. I bet he
Uber Eats at his house all the time. It has to be.
He's got to be wearing out Uber Eats.
No doubt. All right. Well, I really like those. So cool. All right. Well, hey, that was a good mini-sode. Appreciate you guys coming on and talking about it. If you, the listeners, would like to contact us, please do so at email us at pigskinsandpageantry@gmail.com. We can also be found on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all three at Pigskins and Pageantry. We're at Twitter at PPSCC Podcast. Don't forget we are available for download on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and most podcasting apps for iPhone, Android, and other operating systems. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and review. Give us 5 stars. We'd appreciate that. Hit the subscribe on YouTube. Share. We would greatly appreciate that. Like we said, a lot of exciting games coming up. Looking forward to them this weekend. Until next time, this is Wes. Go Dogs.
Evelyn Christian, Penn State, Miami, don't let me down and make me look stupid. As always, roll tide.
Gotta zap the zips. Let's get into it, ball fans. Go Big Orange.